Hi, this is Dr. Jewa, and for this new 13 moon cycle, which begins on Thursday, July the 26th, 2018, we're in red cosmic moon. And if you're not familiar with that, you can look up the 13 moon calendar to get more information on that. I decided that I was going to read A Course in Miracles daily. And there'll be two different videos. One would be the reading from the text, and then another video on the same day for the lesson of the day. The book itself, and this is the book that I'll be reading from, the book itself is a combined volume that has the preface, text, and workbook for students. And so the text that I'll be reading will be from the text part, and the workbook for students has the 365 lessons for each day of the year. So I'm going to start with the preface, and I welcome you to join me on Sundays for the Sunday Summit, where I meet with people who are following these videos and have questions about what was read during the week. On those Sunday Summits, we'll answer questions, talk about what was gleaned, what inspirations or insights that you received during this whole year period, and specifically for the year. So the preface. This preface was written in 1977 in response to many requests for a brief introduction to A Course in Miracles. The first two parts, How It Came, What It Is, Helen Schucman wrote herself. The final part, What It Says, was written by the process of interdictation described in the preface. How It Came. A Course in Miracles began with the sudden decision of two people to join in a common goal. Their names were Helen Schucman and William Thetford, professors of medical psychology at Columbia University's College of Physicians and Surgeons in New York City. It does not matter who they were, except that the story shows that with God, all things are possible. They were anything but spiritual. Their relationship with each other was difficult and often strained, and they were concerned with personal and professional acceptance and status. In general, they had considerable investment in the values of the world. Their lives were hardly in accord with anything that the Course advocates. Helen, the one who received the material describes herself: psychologist, educator, conservative in theory, and atheistic in belief. I was working in a prestigious and highly academic setting, and then something happened that triggered a chain of events I could never have predicted. The head of my department unexpectedly announced that he was tired of the angry and aggressive feelings our attitudes reflected, and concluded that there must be another way. As if on cue, I agreed to help him find it. Apparently, this course is the other way. Although their intention was serious, they had great difficulty in starting out on their joint venture. But they had given the Holy Spirit the little willingness that, as the Course itself was to emphasize again and again, is sufficient to enable her to use any situation for her purposes and provide it with her power. To continue Helen's first-person account, 3 startling months preceded the actual writing, during which time Bill suggested that I write down the highly symbolic dreams and descriptions of the strange images that were coming to me. Although I had grown accustomed to the unexpected, by that time I was still very surprised when I wrote, "This is A Course in Miracles." That was my introduction to the voice. It had no sound, but seemed to be giving me a kind of rapid interdictation which I took down in a shorthand notebook. The writing was never automatic. It could be interrupted at any time and later picked up again. It made me very uncomfortable, but it never seriously occurred to me to stop. It seemed to be a special assignment I had somehow, somewhere agreed to complete. It represented a truly collaborative venture between Bill and myself, and much of its significance, I am sure, lies in that. I would take down what the voice said and read it to him the next day, and he typed it from my dictation. I expected he had his special assignment too. Without his encouragement and support, I would never have been able to fulfill mine. The whole process took about 7 years. The text came first, then the workbook for students, and finally the manual for teachers. Only a few minor changes have been made. Chapter titles and subheadings have been inserted in the text, and some of the more personal references that occurred at the beginning have been omitted. Otherwise, the material is substantially unchanged. The names of the collaborators in the recording of the course do not appear on the cover because the course can and should stand on its own. It is not intended to become the basis of another cult. Its only purpose is to provide a way in which some people will be able to find their own internal teacher. What it is. As the title implies, the course is arranged throughout as a teaching device. It consists of 3 books, a 669-page text, a 488-page workbook for students, and a 92-page manual for teachers. The order in which students choose to use the books and the ways in which they study them depend on their particular needs and preferences. The curriculum the course proposes is carefully conceived and is explained step by step at both the theoretical and practical levels. It emphasizes application rather than theory, and experience rather than theology. It specifically states that a universal theology is possible, but a universal experience is not only possible, but necessary. Although Christian in statement, the course deals with universal spiritual themes. It emphasizes that it is but one version of the universal curriculum. There are many others, this one differing from them only in form. They all lead to God in the end. The text is largely theoretical and sets forth the concepts on which the course's thought system is based. Its ideas contain the foundation for the workbook's lessons. Without the practical application the workbook provides, the text would remain largely a series of abstractions which would hardly suffice to bring about the thought reversal at which the course aims. The workbook includes 365 lessons, one for each day of the year. It is not necessary, however, to do the lessons at that tempo. One might want to remain with a particularly appealing lesson for more than one day. The instructions urge that not more than one lesson a day should be attempted. The practical nature of the workbook is underscored by the introduction to its lessons, which emphasizes experience through application rather than a prior commitment to a spiritual goal. Some of the ideas the workbook presents you will find hard to believe, and others may seem to be quite startling. This does not matter. You are merely asked to apply the ideas as you are directed to do. You are not asked to judge them at all. You are asked only to use them. It is their use that will give them meaning to you and will show you that they are true. Remember only this: you need not believe the ideas, you need not accept them, and you need not even welcome them. Some of them you might actively resist. None of this will matter or decrease their efficacy, but do not allow yourself to make exceptions in applying the ideas the workbook contains. And whatever your reactions to the ideas may be, use them. Nothing Nothing more than that is required. Finally, the Manual for Teachers, which is written in question and answer form, provides the answers to some of the more likely questions a student might ask. It also includes a clarification of a number of terms the course uses, explaining them within the theoretical framework of the text. The course makes no claim to finality, nor are the workbook lessons intended to bring the student's learning to completion. At the end, the reader is left in the hands of his or her internal teacher, who will direct all subsequent learning as she sees fit. And I'll stop here, and because the time is getting ready to run out, and complete the other part of the preface in part 2.